This is the Epson Home Cinema 2350 4K Pro-UHD Smart Gaming Projector, and my first impression was simple: bright, punchy, and very easy to live with. As long as you know what it does best. I set it up for a few nights of movies and a long weekend of gaming to see how it actually feels in a real living room with imperfect lighting and real-world constraints. The body is compact for a 3 LCD unit, about 13.1 by 10.8 by 4.8 inches and around 9 pounds. Matte white plastic keeps reflections down and makes it blend into a shelf or media console. The front exhaust pushes warm air forward, while the intake sits on the side with a user-replaceable filter. That front exhaust is great for bookshelf placement because you don't cook the wall behind it. But if it's on a coffee table, you will feel the warm airflow in front of you. Lens controls are all manual and tactile. Zoom and focus rings, plus a vertical lens shift dial that moves the image up or down without tilting the projector. That lens shift is the hero for quick setup. It gives real optical adjustment instead of relying on digital keystone that can soften the image. Ports are mostly on the back, and there's a hidden bay that holds the included Android TV stick. It's clean and smart, but it eats one HDMI. So, in practice, you get one easily accessible HDMI for a console or Blu-ray player. There are two remotes, a projector remote and an Android TV remote. Both work fine, but neither is backlit, and the buttons feel soft and a little vague in the dark. From my experience, setup was fast and flexible thanks to that generous vertical lens shift. I could place it high on a shelf and dial the image into the screen without keystone correction. The tricky part was focus. The ring is very sensitive, and focus uniformity isn't perfect. The center can be crisp while corners go a shade soft, or vice versa. I found a sweet spot that looked clean for movies and games, but it's not razor-sharp edge-to-edge like higher-end optics. I also noticed a bit of thermal drift for the first 20 to 30 minutes. As the projector warms up, the focus shifts slightly, and I'd nudge it back into place. After warm-up, it stabilizes. Once content starts, the brightness is the main event. Epson rates it at 2,800 lumens for both color and white, and that equal color brightness is the real secret behind the pop. On a white wall or a 1.0 gain screen with a few lamps on, colors stay saturated and don't collapse into a dull haze. 3 LCD also means no rainbow effect because the three primary colors are shown at the same time, not in sequence. If you've ever been distracted by color flashes on single-chip DLP projectors, this avoids that entirely. For resolution, key features here include Epson's 4K Pro-UHD processing with pixel shifting, plus HDR10 and HLG support. Pixel shifting is simple. The panels are 1080p, but they shift each pixel very fast to create a denser image on the screen. Up close, it's not native 4K. At normal seating distance, it looks much sharper than standard 1080p and removes the screen door grid. Textures in movies look crisp, and streaming 4K content benefits from the extra processing. HDR support is real, but keep expectations in check. You get richer color and highlight detail, but this is a lamp-based projector with modest black levels. So HDR impact depends heavily on your room. Black level is the area where you feel the trade-off for all that brightness. In a dark room, the letterbox bars sit in dark gray rather than deep black, and space scenes or moody dramas don't have that inky depth you see on dedicated theater projectors. I got the best results by dimming the room and using a neutral gray or ambient light rejecting screen. If you watch mostly with some lights on, the perceived contrast improves and the bright image shines. Gaming is where the 2350 clicks. Input lag under 20 milliseconds at 1080p/60 feels responsive. I played fast shooters and a couple of racing titles and didn't feel the cursor float or delay that kills timing. The big draw is 1080p at 120 Hz. Motion looks wondrously fluid and camera pans stay readable. I did have to tweak my console settings to get 120 Hz recognized, usually dropping to 1080p and using specific color formats like UV420. Once set, it stayed stable, but it's not plug-and-play 120 Hz at 4K. The projector won't do 4K and 120 Hz together. As for sound, the built-in 10W speaker is there for convenience. It's clear enough for dialogue, but thin and directional. And it feels odd when the sound comes from behind you while the image is in front. I pushed audio to an external soundbar most of the time. Bluetooth works, but a heads up. Bluetooth audio on this model is limited to Android TV apps, not HDMI sources. Over Bluetooth, I noticed slight lip sync delay and used the audio delay setting on my soundbar to match it up. If you care about sound quality and sync, run HDMI through an AVR or use an optical out from your source into a sound system. Fan noise depends on mode. In normal or bright modes, the fan is audible, especially in quiet scenes. Eco mode quiets it down a lot, but dims the picture. I switched based on content. Eco for movies at night, brighter mode for sports or games, where the soundtrack masks the fan. Heat is real on this small chassis, so leave generous clearance around the vents. I had one thermal shutdown early on when it was boxed into a tight shelf. Moving it forward and using Eco fixed it. In my opinion, color performance is the star. Animated films and sports look vivid, and skin tones stay natural without the oversaturated look you sometimes get on budget projectors. The equal color and white brightness makes a clear difference in everyday rooms. The 3 LCD engine means no rainbow artifacts, which is a relief. The vertical lens shift is a quality of life win that keeps setup easy and picture quality intact. For gaming, low input lag and 1080p 120Hz make this a fun big screen option that feels responsive. Android TV being tucked inside the projector is neat for quick streaming, and voice search on the remote simplifies finding stuff. There are quirks I had to work around. Focus uniformity and slight drift during warm-up are real. Black levels are just okay, so plan your room and screen wisely. The hidden Android TV stick taking an HDMI port means a switcher or an AVR becomes useful if you own multiple consoles. The remotes should be backlit. There's no 3D support if you're still into that format. And Bluetooth audio not working for HDMI sources is a limitation worth knowing. It's perfect for living rooms, dorms, and shared spaces where you want a bright, colorful image that holds up with some lights on, plus serious gaming responsiveness on a huge screen. If you value deep blacks above all else and watch mostly in a pitch-dark room, this won't replace a higher-end home theater projector. If you're sensitive to fan noise, you'll want to use Eco or sit a bit farther away. From my experience, the strengths outweigh the quirks for mixed use. Movies look sharp and lively. Sports are a blast. And 120Hz gaming at 100 to 120 inches is addictive once you dial in the settings. It's easy to carry, simple to place, and forgiving in rooms that aren't theater perfect. In conclusion, the Epson Home Cinema 2350 leans hard into brightness, color, and speed. Key features like 4K PRO-UHD processing, HDR10 and HLG support, true 3 LCD with equal color and white brightness, vertical lens shift, low input lag, and 1080p 120Hz make it a very capable all-rounder. I'd recommend this for anyone who wants a big, versatile screen for family movie nights, sports, and console gaming, without turning the room into a cave. If you can live with average black levels, a bit of focus fuss during warm-up, and the HDMI Bluetooth limitations, it delivers a fun, straightforward big screen experience. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe, drop your questions or your own experience in the comments, and tell me what projector you want to see next. Thank you for watching.